The Gunnaz Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Gunnaz YouTube channel, the Gunnaz Podcast. And yeah, it's your boy Canio, and I'm here with a special guest, Kishan. Um,
Long
we
overdue.
long overdue for real, bro. So yeah, guys, we're just gonna be here talking a bit about the Champions League game week one. He's a Manchester United fan, so we're gonna talk a bit about Manchester United. and yeah, the Premier League predictions for game week 6. So yeah, guys, just sit back, relax, enjoy, listen to some football talking, and yeah, let's go, bro. So I think we can start off with Manchester United. Here,
Bro,
bro.
bro, I don't know why the first thing you start off with is United, to be honest. You know what
Mm.
I mean? In reality, United have been the talk of the town, win, lose, or draw, you know? And, personally, I have friends who send me articles most of the times, things that are clickbait, and, journalists and the media just tend to write things that are not true to kind of get to United fans. And, most times we fall for it. But, if you want to start off with United first, no problem. We're the biggest club, so why not? Let's go ahead.
Bro. So yeah, you guys had a very, very shaky start to the Champions League. You guys, at the way how it was going, I thought you were gonna get like five, 4 or 5 no, but you actually ended up making the game look a bit respectable, to be honest. With a 4-3 victory to Bayern. I think Bayern could have won by at least 7. They had a whole lot of chances. Sane slapped the post. Sane was terrorizing Regulan. So, yeah, bro, I think this was kind of an escape. Casemiro with 2 late goals. How you feeling about that game and your club overall that's in the mud?
I mean, to start off with the game against Bayern, listen, I've been watching United for more than over a decade, and we've not been our best in the past 10 years. And if it's one thing I know with United is that whenever we play big oppositions,
Mm.
especially in the Champions League, we're not the favored ones. And we've pulled off results against PSG, Juventus in the group stage, and different teams over the years in the Champions League. So United is a team whenever they're ready to turn up, they will. So going into the Bayern game, I saw the comments and everything on social media about us getting 5-1. But let's be honest, like this Bayern team, it's a good quality team, but
Yeah.
it's not the Bayern of old with Lewandowski and Robin and some of these guys that were playing Madrid back in 2016, 2017. So, my prediction going into that game was 2-2. Ended up 4-3, and they scored the first goal, which I think was a good run by Musiala, beating 3 players. And it's kind of poor in United not to kind of lay a foot on him or anything or a
He
finger,
was walking. He was
exactly.
walking on that day.
And shit, I mean, Onana gives up a goal to Bayern. you know I think for the first 15-20 minutes, the intensity from United, it was right. We're doing our thing, and they get the 2 goals, we get back one of Rasmus Højlund, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, like, we have a game on our hands, and you know as they go straight up the field, we give away a silly penalty. I heard people debating whether it was a penalty or not, and for me, it was a penalty, to be honest. Like, I think Ericsson, he knew what he was doing, and it's just one of the dark arts of football. Like, players
Mm.
think they can get away with some silly stuff like that, but we all know that VAR is like currently in the game. So there goes a penalty to Bayern Munich, and then we get back one again, and Casemiro will make up a substitutions, and Bayern goes up the pitch and they get back one again, makes it 4-2. I mean 4-3. I think I'm
Yeah,
missing. I think I'm even missing a goal, to be honest.
yeah, bro.
Um, but I remember the Casemiro goal, that one with Martial and starting the play and the flick over the top and the finish by Casemiro. And I was thinking to myself, we should have tested that Bayern keeper more, because I don't think he's much of a quality keeper, But I'm not too upset with the result. It's against a quality opposition, so we just have to take it and move on from there.
All right. I wouldn't. Well, the result is not anything to be upset about, but the performance. Before you guys could have scored a goal, you guys could have been 4-0 down.
No, I
I'm
don't
telling
think
you,
so.
bro.
Mm.
Bro, they were creating chances. You were on. All right, let me see. Let me just pull it up quickly here. Matches. You guys were 2-0 up, right? And then Highland made it 2-1. At that time when Highland made it 2-1, I think it could have been 3-0 already, to be honest.
Yeah,
Right?
I think before we scored, Sana hit the post, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
exactly. And I was like, bro, just score now. Yeah, when you don't see money, you get dumped there, you. Yeah, but to be honest, bro, you guys could have realistically, I know you said it's not the Bayern of old, but based on what I saw and what I watched, you guys could have easily shipped 6 goals. Like, easily, bro.
But
So,
the good thing is that we didn't, so no
yeah,
one will be
true.
laughing at us, you know.
True, but the performance was poor. Last season, you guys had one of the best defenses in the league. It was scoring that was your problem. No, this season you're conceding like crazy. So I don't know if it's a part of the process that you guys might just have to stick to, because on Arsenal side, in Arteta's first 2 seasons, the process was rocky, bro, and a lot of us could not see the light, right? And I don't watch Manchester United religiously, like tactics wise, each player individually, this, that, that. For Arsenal, it's different. So when Arteta was trying to do something, it was way easier for me to see it. But from the Manchester United perspective, I know you. I don't know. You just have to tell me. But I
I
just
mean,
can't see
you know,
what he's trying to do.
Arteta for a period of time was the laughing stock of the Premier League in his earlier time when he was appointed. I know he won the FA Cup, but after that, you guys, kind of had top four in your hands, and you didn't eventually finish in the top four. But maybe it was for a greater good. Who is to say? I mean, everything is hindsight, and you know, with Arsenal and with Arsenal sticking with Arteta, it's probably the right thing. I mean, if you're going through a process, and I heard Edu talk about him sticking with Arteta and investing, the right money, not only the money but on the right players as well.
Mm.
Declan Rice is a good example of a good investment. Took him away from going to Manchester City. Timber, even though he's not playing, but some of these signings are quality signings, and listen, they're coming to Arsenal because they realize that this is a quality club. They have quality players in William Saliba, Saka, who is still young and upcoming, Martinelli, who is, exceptional at what he does best. So, with United, I feel like it's a process, to be honest, and I feel like it's just a bump in the road. Um, we can't sack Ten Hag. I mean, how many managers are out there that can manage Manchester United? And I mean, not many quality managers are out there currently. Most of the managers out there are kind of washed up managers. So I'd rather stick with Ten Hag and see how everything goes. For one, I know that people talk about the style of play. We don't have a style of play, which to a certain degree I agree with. But I feel like it also comes down to personal. I don't think we have the personal to kind of play the way how Ten Hag probably wants to play. You can't be playing expansive football with McTominay and Juan Bissaka and some of these
Yeah,
guys. So
but just about in there a bit. I don't think, like, he was asked what type of football do you want to play at Manchester United, and his response was not expansive football. His response was, "I want to be the best transition team in the world." Right? You remember that?
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
That was his response. So for me, I don't think if you want to be one of the best teams in the world, transition should be at the top of your list in terms of the way how you want to do things and your main style of play. If you want to be competing with Manchester United, with Arsenal, with Barcelona, with those teams, I
I
just
mean,
think,
I was listening to a video recently with Simon Jordan from Talksport. He does his own podcast, and he was
yeah,
talking with Sam Allardyce, and Sam Allardyce is kind of known as predominantly a flat track bully, the long ball specialist, these type of stuff. And listen, I think that we should accommodate different style of plays in football, because he was talking about perception, and it's like you will be playing football and you will be winning, say probably playing transitional football or playing long balls and these stuff, but so that you're even winning trophies, fans are still not accepting it. They're not satisfied because it's not the Pep or Arteta style of play. It's not the tiki taka football. So if my manager says he wants to be one of the best transitional teams in the world, and that's how he wants to approach the game by going out there and trying to win games like that and eventually winning trophies, then I accept it. And that's what set managers apart. That's what set coaches and everything apart. Is the philosophy that you implement.
Yeah, true, but you also have to look at the league that you're in. And if the league that Manchester United is in is a league where Manchester City has won 4 in a row or has won 3 in a row, looking for their fourth in a row. They have been dominating this league for almost 6, 7 years since Pep has been here. Now, if you want to beat them, there are different ways you can beat them, right? But you still have to have a basis to at least be like them in a certain way. For example, Liverpool. Liverpool, they had their press and their counter press and stuff like that. But Liverpool was still able, and they still had ball handlers in the team who could keep possession, slow down the game, slow down the tempo, speed it up when they need to. It wasn't just about pressing, right? No, Manchester United, when I look into that Manchester United team, I'm not seeing anyone who can do that. Like, you guys have individual qualities here and there in terms of players. So Casemiro can win the ball. Ericsson has a pass in his foot. Bruno is creative. But you need more than that. You need people that have like two special qualities. So, for example, Declan Rice can win the ball. Declan Rice can drive. Declan Rice can pass. Um, Martin Odegaard can collect the ball from deep. He can play as a 10. He can play as a 8. So stuff like that. I'm not seeing that in this Manchester United team to say.
No,
Uh,
true, but just to kind of backtrack on the style of play and these type of stuff. As I said, it kind of comes down to the personnel that you have that you have at your disposal to and I mean we signed 5 players. I mean probably like 6, and most of them have been injured. Still have Amrabat to come into this team. Hajlan is getting up to fitness, and possibly I'm leaving out someone. And then the United team is kind of disjointed. The Anthony situation plus the Jadon Sancho and all these type of stuff. I mean, granted that Jadon Sancho isn't a Ten Hag signing, so I could care less about him and whatever is going on with him behind closed doors. But listen, when Mourinho came into the Premier League, when Wenger came into the Premier League, and all these iconic managers, like everyone was saying, well, you can't win with your philosophy, you can win with your style of play and whatever they were trying to implement. When Wenger came into Arsenal, he revolutionized the Premier League. He challenged Ferguson, and at that period in time, no one was challenging him. Mourinho did the same thing. United were a dominant force before Abramovich bought Chelsea. He bought Chelsea, appointed Mourinho, and these stuff gave him Drogba and these players, and he won differently, as well as many other managers. To a certain extent, Rafa Benitez as well. So I just think that what separates managers and what will make you elite in a sense is what you are willing to make unique to yourself. I know that Manchester City is an exceptional team, but if every manager goes about playing the way how City plays, then being a carbon copy doesn't make sense.
yeah, well, as I said, you don't have to be a carbon copy, but you still have to have certain principles, especially in terms of ball retention, possession, stuff like that. Manchester United, to me, can't keep the ball and progress the ball. Keep the ball, progress the ball. They just can't. But yeah, let's move on. We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah.
So that was Group A. We saw Galatasaray draw with Copenhagen in your group as well. I was not expecting that. I was expecting Galatasaray to win, especially at home.
I believe
Over
they were 2-0 up as well, right?
Yeah, Copenhagen was 2-0 up.
Oh,
Galatasaray came back and they stole a point. So over to Group B, you have Arsenal, Lens, Sevilla, PSV. We dropped 4. Sevilla and Lens drew their game. This should be a walk in the park for Arsenal. You believe so?
yeah, definitely. Sevilla, they'll be a tough opposition, to be honest. I'm not sure if in the Champions League, because for some weird reason they always finish
Yeah.
third, and so
Mhm.
probably it is a walk in the park. PSV not a quality opposition right now. You giving them 4 at home, and listen, Arsenal is a quality side right now. I think it's the second best team in the country. Right behind Manchester City, and I didn't watch the game, but I expected that Saka and Odegaard and these players would have been on the score sheet. And I mean, you guys haven't been in the Champions League for 7 years, so it's a good way to announce yourself. And listen, I don't want to say I believe you guys can win the Champions League. You guys came this close to winning the Premier League, and it didn't happen. I think you guys will go far in the Champions League. When you look at it's a knockout competition at the end of the day, so anything can happen. But when you look at the teams around, barring Manchester City, there are not many teams that are better than Arsenal. Let's be
Mm,
honest.
yeah.
The thing is, Arsenal, they just haven't been in the Champions League over.
The experience.
Yeah, so maybe you guys won't have the pedigree, but let's see. It's a Champions League. Miracles do happen, and it's a special night most of the times, depending where you're playing. So you
Mm.
guys will definitely have a shot.
All right. Over to Group C: Napoli, Madrid, Braga, Berlin. So both Napoli and Madrid won their game 1-0. So yeah, that group is looking, it's looking tight. The teams aren't going down without a fight in that group. So it looks like a tight.
Real Madrid is in the Napoli group.
Yeah,
Oh
Madrid.
yeah, and
Yeah.
earlier I was saying to you before, the show and everything. I watched the Madrid game, and listen, Jude Bellingham, man. Let me tell you, before the goal, baller, and I think we know that from his Dortmund days. The guy was exceptional. Joselu got a couple of chances, and he's been at Madrid for a couple of years. He's
Mm.
what, like 33 now. At one point, he was done as the next Ronaldo, which was a joke. But he got, listen,
Yeah.
bro. The guy got like a couple clear cut headers that he should be burying. And then
Yeah.
the last moment, I was saying to a friend of mine, we were, in a Discord room, and I was saying to him, Berlin is like they're holding their own, and you're thinking to yourself like they're gonna get a point, and it's just unfortunate that they didn't like walk
Mm.
away with a point. But it's a testament to not giving up and playing to the final whistle, and Madrid end up getting the goal.
Yeah. I'm not promoting violence here, but if I was Union Berlin, bro, I would war, bro. Like, those people who knew me when I was playing football, bro. If that had happened to me in the last minute after I played so well and deserved a point, bro, I might have even gotten a red card, bro. To be honest,
But to
it's
be
a
honest,
very, very, very tough way to lose a football
I
game, bro.
would I would I would take a last, well, depending on the game, but I feel like a last minute winning goal is probably better than you conceding early and then you're playing good and not winning. Like, like a hot 1-0, a hot 1-0. Where it's
Yeah.
like you try, you hit the post, you create chances. But yeah, you're not the winner to Union Berlin to like consider that in the last 10
Yeah,
moments.
bro. Very rough on them. So over to Group D, you have Salzburg, Inter, Sociedad, Benfica. Won't really waste much time on this group. Inter and Sociedad drew. Salzburg actually beat Benfica. Who do you think are going to be the top two out of this group? Quickly.
So could you repeat the group? Salzburg, Benfica,
Salzburg, Inter Milan, Sociedad, Benfica.
Inter Milan, definitely. I haven't watched Real Sociedad in the last couple of years, but I know for the past couple of seasons, I've heard them doing well. They've been
Mm,
doing well enough for themselves, and they've produced some quality players over the years.
yeah.
I don't know what the quality of the team is, but I'll go Benfica, seeing that over the past couple of years they've kind of made it out of the group.
Benfica lost to Salzburg in
Yeah,
the
but
first.
I think they'll still make it out.
All right, cool. Group E, we have Feyenoord. This was a group of drama, last minute drama. Feyenoord played Celtic, they won 2-0. And then Atletico Madrid versus Lazio. Atletico was winning for who knows how long. Um, and then, yeah, the Lazio goalkeeper came in the last minute, bro. That ball from my brain right now. Their playmaker, Lazio's playmaker. I don't remember his name now, to be honest.
Yeah,
Luis Alberto, I think. I'm not sure, but that ball was a wicked ball, bro. Right on the forehead of the goalkeeper.
I
Uh,
mean, nothing beats scoring a goal like that, especially for a goalkeeper.
yeah,
Oftentimes they don't score goals, and I saw this interesting picture where I think he was wearing the number 94, if I believe correctly, and the added on time was 94 minutes. So
yeah.
it's
And I think he was
awesome.
born in 1994 as well.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't see
Yeah,
that
bro.
quite. But that was a quality goal, a well worked goal. It was a cross from outside the 18-yard box back into the
Mhm.
box, and I think it was a header as well, if I believe correctly, if I remember correctly. I just want to touch on Celtic. I listened to a couple pundits and analysts from England, and whenever Celtic underperform in the Champions League, it's always the talk of the town, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand the Scottish culture and what are the expectations from teams like Rangers and Celtic. But I don't know.
I think Celtic have been European champions before.
But that's from
Let me check.
Timbuktu.
Yeah, but that's at the end of the day. If you have won it before, that's the standard that you set for your club, no matter what time it is. So if you're in the competition, you're expecting to at least do something in it. So I think maybe that's it. Let me check. Celtic Champions League winners. Yeah, they won it in 1967. Yeah,
1967.
1966-67 season. They became the first British team to win the European Cup, also winning the Scottish League Championship. So I think maybe that's it. They have a Champions League trophy already. So whenever they're in it, even though they know they're not at the level to win it, they feel like they should have a good showing.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
bro.
that's respectable in some sense.
hmm So over to Group F, we have PSG, Newcastle, Milan, and Dortmund.
Yeah, listen, I watched the PSG game to a certain extent. I was in and out, and whenever I watch PSG, I just can't take them serious, especially with Messi and Neymar leaving. I was looking at Kulum, what's his
Koga
name?
Moani.
Yeah, Kulumwani.
Yeah.
Um, I was also my eyes were on Kylian Mbappe. But PSG, man, they won't be going too far in this competition. Depending on who they get in the round of 16, they're beatable. To be honest,
It's really it's really just Mbappe.
yeah, and I don't know why he's still at PSG. I've been having discussions with friends since recently, and I've been asking the question: as like, is Mbappe one of the best in the world? Really? I mean, yes, he is, but like, am I supposed to take this guy serious? Like, bro, we've all seen League On, and it's not quality. Bro, I rather watch the Red Star Premier League or Jamaica Premier League than the French League. It's just not quality. The defending is poor, etc., etc. I've seen better games in Jamaica, even at schoolboy football level, compared to what I've seen in France, to be honest.
Mm.
And I know that they won 2-0, Hakimi and Kylian Mbappe getting on the score sheet. And back to my point of asking if is Kylian Mbappe one of the best players in the world. I know that variety isn't there, but I even asked the question: is was variety at the time one of the best midfielders in the world? And I don't think so. I don't think he can spend close to a decade in that league and be considered as one of the best.
Mm. All right, cool. So yeah, let's head over to Milan versus Castle. I think this was only nil-nil. A
Yeah.
boring game. It had some feisty moments in it. It was okay, but who do you think this is a group of death, bro? Who do you think is gonna make it out?
I mean, first of all, I didn't even get to watch that game or even see the highlights, but I heard that like Milan had 20 something shots and
Mm.
Newcastle had like probably like six or something. But pertaining to like making it out of the group, definitely PSG and Dortmund. I don't know.
Dortmund.
It's a weird one because like AC Milan, they won the Scudetto a couple seasons ago, and they've been kind of selling the best players. And
Mm.
if you look at last season, well, they finished like third or fourth, and they kind of like struggled to make it in the top four. I
I
don't
think
know.
their side is much improved this season compared to last.
Thinking about it,
They
they're
brought in Chukwueze.
Pulisic as
Um,
well.
they brought in Pulisic. They brought in Loftus Cheek. They brought in Musa, the
Mm.
American midfielder, defensive midfielder. They brought in Jovic as well.
Luka Jovic.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the team they also have Florenzi as well.
I
That
mean,
was at
listen.
Napoli.
Let me take back what I
And that
said
was on
before.
their bench.
I don't
So
think I have a prediction for this group. Reason being, Newcastle is a quality opposition. On the day, Newcastle is a quality opposition, and I think they'll perform much better at home. And
yeah,
them getting a 0-0 result against AC Milan away
that's
from
good.
home, it's good for them despite how they played.
Mm,
PSG is a hit and miss. I know that Mbappe is a brilliant player, but you just never know. This group could literally produce anything.
yeah,
But
true.
I definitely expect PSG to go through.
All right, bro. I would say PSG and Milan stroke Castle. Milan has been known for a bit of upsets, like a few upsets in the Champions League. Sometimes they underperform, so maybe Castle can creep in. And
Yeah,
I think Castle has a huge advantage with their home fans and their home ground. I think a lot of teams will find it hard to cope there, especially when the Jardis are up.
yeah,
So
definitely. The only positive for Newcastle in this group is finishing third and getting in the Europa League.
Europa League,
Still being
yeah,
in a European competition would be good for them.
I think they'll take that. So over to Group G, I won't spend a lot of time on this. It was Leipzig. They won. Um, I think it was 2-0. I'm not sure. Manchester City, they won 3-1. Yeah. So I think that those are the two, Leipzig and City. Young Boys and Red Star. Nah. So,
Bro, why Man City always get easy groups?
bro, I can't even explain it, bro, to be honest. Like
Easy
every
groups,
single year,
easy draw like FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Everybody else will get like
all the time.
say Arsenal we get like Chelsea in the quarterfinal of like the FA Cup or something, while Man City get like all Stockport or
You see me,
some
bro?
Newport. I'm like,
Chesterfield.
bro,
So, yo, they're lucky, bro. And finally, Group H, we have Barcelona. This is another easy group as well. Barcelona, scoring 5, against Royal Antwerp, Porto beating Shakhtar Donetsk. So those 3 on 3 points, those 2 on 3 points, and I think those two will go through unless you
yeah.
think Shakhtar
Nah,
will.
Porto will definitely go through. They've been to the latter stages in the past like three couple years
Mhm.
and so. And I mean, who's to say if Barcelona will make it out? They haven't made it out the group in the past year or so. Boys, they'll definitely make it out. They have a quality side.
Mm,
Who they have Lewandowski and these. They have Champions League pedigree players as of right now
mm.
until they face Bayern.
Yeah,
So hopefully
true.
they don't. But yeah, those teams will definitely make it out.
All right, cool. So yeah, that's it for the Champions League. Now let's head over to the Premier League. Game week 6. So we have a few. Let me see here. We have a few. These fixtures aren't bad. We have a London Derby, Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Luton versus Wolves, Man City versus Forest, Brentford versus Everton. That one should be a good one. Burnley versus Manchester United, and then on the Sunday we have Arsenal versus Spurs. That's strange. Why did they put it at the 8 a.m. kickoff? Arsenal versus Spurs, and then they put Sheffield United versus Newcastle at the 10:30 kickoff. The last game. That's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
And
there's
I'm looking at the
um
fixtures now as well.
then there's Brighton versus Bournemouth, Chelsea versus Villa, um, Liverpool versus West Ham. That should be good. And then the Premier League weekend ends with Sheffield versus Castle. So I think we can pick 5 matches and then we predict those 5. I'm gonna go Manchester United versus Burnley, Arsenal versus Spurs, Chelsea versus Villa. Um, and we can end it out with Liverpool versus West Ham. So let's start off with Manchester United versus Burnley.
Turf Moor. Um,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's not Brexit football anymore, right? It's company's football. Manchester City, former player, legend, quality defender. But you know, let's talk about
Yeah.
his managerial role. I know that in the championship they only spent one season there, and straight away came back to the Premier League. I heard that they played some exceptional football. I haven't watched them. Well, no, let me not
100
lie.
points.
I watched them the first game of the season. I can't remember against who, but they have this player that I've been watching, youngster. The guy has about like six probably nationalities, could play for 6 different countries, and they look good in terms of the football that they're trying to play, expansive. But we all know when you're a newly promoted team, you can't be playing like that. You'll get punished by
Mm-hmm.
better oppositions. But Burnley, they'll be up for it. They're searching for points. The last game, I believe, they drew. Manchester United, on paper, you're thinking we should have enough to beat them, and I'm hoping that on the pitch when we step foot, we'll get a result there. However, listen, Turf Moor is a very hard place to play when Sean Dash was there, and any manager that's there is still be a hard place to play whenever they're up for it. But I
Mm.
expect United to win, and I say got 2-0.
All right, 2-0 Manchester United. And yeah, I think you guys should be able to beat Burnley. at the start of the season, I had high hopes for them. I predicted them to finish around 12 or 13, but to how it's looking now, company is looking a bit naive the way how he's playing. They're kind of reminding me of Norwich. They'll come up, play their way, won't care about changing, and just go back down. That's how it's looking right now. They're not really adjusting their style much to try and win football matches. They think that they can win playing the same way they were playing in championship, and we know how that bodes for teams that go about it like that. So yeah, let's move on to Sunday. We have Liverpool versus West Ham.
Oh, quality game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, West Ham for the past couple seasons they haven't been doing great. I mean, when I mean the past couple seasons, I'm not talking. Well, last season they didn't do well, but the previous season they did do well, and then previously they were a hit and miss. But them selling Declan Rice, they've made some listen at quality signings. I mean not Declan Rice. Ward Prowse. I would take Ward Prowse at United, to be honest. Quality player. I think he
Mm.
scored today as well in the Europa League, if I believe correctly. And they signed a guy from Ajax. Is Alvarez? I think
Kudos
he's
and Alvarez, two of
yeah.
them.
Pudo Solid also scored today. And Liverpool, I mean, yeah, they've won the last couple games and whatever. I saw them against what was the last team they played in the Premier League again? Wolves. And
Yeah,
Wolves they started off well, they failed to finish the chances, but Liverpool came out in the second half, made few tactical changes, and they just put them to the sword and put them to the death. So it's a quality game. Is it playing at Anfield or is it playing at the London
Anfield.
Stadium? Anfield. I mean, it's a fortress at the end of the day. But with the current run of form that Liverpool is on right now, the confidence and everything, I think Klopp has them believing that listen, we can accomplish something this season.
Yeah.
But I'll go Liverpool for this game.
Okay. How much?
I'd say 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1. They actually won 3-1 today as well.
Yeah.
They played last, going down a goal and coming back as usual. That seems to be the theme for them this season, coming back from a 1-0 to win. So yeah, let's head over to Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Both teams, I think, coming off bad results, they could say. Aston Villa lost today 3-2 unexpectedly
Wow.
in the Conference League. And Bournemouth, Chelsea lost to Nottingham Forest the week before and then draw with Bournemouth. So they should be looking to win at home.
Yeah. Chelsea, I've been watching them since pre-season. I watched two games, them against Fulham and them against Brighton. And when they had all players available that's not available now, they actually look good. Especially in the
Mm.
4-2-3-1. And I was adamant that whatever Chelsea will look to accomplish this season, Casado will be pivotal in terms of him playing in that pivot, beside Enzo. And it's unfortunate that he hasn't hit the ground running as of right now. I think he's definitely a quality player and he'll eventually come. But to go into for this game and how they started the season, I like Chelsea in terms of what they're trying to do with the youngsters, to be honest, because the youngsters are the future. I like Nicholas Jackson, I like Enzo, I like Gusto and these type of players. But the common theme for Chelsea is for some reason they're just not finishing their chances. Under Graham Potter last season, I'm not going to say they played exceptionally well, but they did create chances and they just couldn't finish. And again, against Bournemouth, Jackson had this chance, and bro, I don't know if you saw the video where the guy like put it in the stands like and fell over, and people were saying Michael Jackson the way the guy play. But
Yeah.
they've just not been a clinical team, and that's what's hurting Chelsea, man. It's hurting them, and I think Aston Villa will be up for this game. They will
Yeah.
definitely be up for this game. Leon Bailey's on form despite the loss today. You know, the guy from Leverkusen as well. Can't remember his name. But it's a quality side, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
They are a quality side.
Yes. Predictions.
Oh, it's playing at the London Stadium, right?
Stamford
I mean,
Bridge.
shit, Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
Chelsea. Let me see. I think I'm gonna go Villa for this one.
Yeah.
Might go.
I'm going Villa too, bro. I'm going Villa 2-1.
Yeah, I'd say 2-1 or 2-0. My final answer would be probably a 2-1 because Chelsea are at home, so they'll probably score a goal.
Chelsea are in the mud, bro. Like I just can't see where they're getting out. And like I know how Unai Emery is. He just lost in a European game. You know how he is with Europe, especially in those team competitions. Europa League. He will definitely want to win the not Champions League, Conference League.
Yeah.
So the fact that they put that showing, they are going to come out firing and wanting to beat Chelsea. So
I don't
I
think it's a
will,
good time for Chelsea to play them as well because, like, for some reason, when Aston Villa lose a game, the next game they play, the
yeah,
battle them,
yeah,
literally.
bro, exactly, bro. So yeah, and then finally we can end it with Arsenal versus Spurs, North London derby.
And it's playing at your stadium, right?
Huh?
It's playing away or home? Your stadium?
No, we're playing at the Emirates.
Oh,
After
nice.
every Champions League game this season, we have a home game.
Wow. Listen, man. You guys have an exceptional record at home against them in the North London Derby.
We haven't lost since 2010 at
I've
home.
never understood the rivalry, seeing that they don't win trophies, you know. So I've never understood the rivalry. I've tried to, but I
I
just see
think it's more
Spurs.
of the location, to be honest, because they used to be the kings of North London. But
Yeah,
Arsenal, we kind of moved in because we were always in London, but we weren't at that section. So
yeah.
we moved in and we basically took over. So I think that's where the rivalry has stemmed from. They hated us for that, and it just went on for generations. So
I
it's
mean,
it's actually real hate, bro.
when I look at this Arsenal team, man, I said before it's the second best team in the country right now, right behind Manchester City, and the confidence that Arsenal is playing with, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel just is coming off the injuries, banging in goals. Eddie Nketiah, when he gets his start, he
Mm.
scores every now and then, Kai Havertz, question marks over him. Declan Rice playing well this season. Bro, let me tell you, William Saliba. William Saliba. Bro, I saw a video in the Champions League game where the guy that the ball comes over the top and you're thinking that the attacker going to like win the ball and he does this wicked turn. I'm
Upscotch.
like,
Upscotch.
bro,
God
I'm
is
like,
gone, bro.
bro, this wicked piece of turn, bro. The man do, and I'm like, wow. The guy just like probably like beat like 1-2 players. You remind me of this play with Eric Back a couple seasons ago in the 18-yard box. Him like kind of like skip past two man by just turning. And other than that turn, William Saliba from last season until now, one of the best defenders in the Premier League. And lucky
Yeah.
that he got the injury. And I believe that if he didn't get the injury last season, you guys would have probably won the Premier League. Trust me,
Yeah.
because scoring goals wasn't the problem for Arsenal. I think you guys scored the second most goals in the league and overall as well. So Arsenal, I think they'll beat Spurs. Listen, every time Spurs have this high in the last couple of seasons that I can remember under Mourinho or Conte, every time they have this high where they win some games and they play Arsenal, they get humbled. Trust me.
Mm.
They start to believe that, can beat Arsenal, we can even win a trophy. But if you look at Spurs, the pedigree of them is like Arsenal is the pit bull and like Spurs is like this annoying chihuahua that keeps barking and barking. Richarlison hit and miss, son. I mean, despite him scoring a hat trick since season, he's still a hit and miss. He's not been as good as the past seasons. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, Spurs is a quality side, but defensively they're always open, and I think Arsenal will just cut them like a knife through hot butter.
Mm. Yeah, and the next thing as well is their season is done. It has finished before it even touched September, bro. Their aim was to win a trophy, right? They aren't in the Champions League. They aren't in the Europa League. They aren't in the Conference League. So the only two trophies they have to fight for was Carabao Cup and FA Cup, right? We're not even talking about Premier League here. They're in it, but they're not in it to win it,
Yeah,
right? So the main thing you would say they're having to like bank on was the Carabao Cup, and they lost their first match.
I think they
Like,
lost to Fulham as well.
What was Pastor thinking?
It
Like,
was Fulham that they lost,
rested
right?
players. He rested players.
Yeah.
He didn't start his strongest team, and it's not like they had a midweek game. They're not in Europe, so that was puzzling. He rested the team. He trusted in some other youths, and then they went out on penalties. Like, what
I
the hell?
mean, listen, Spurs is a very weird club, and it's a problem from under Pochettino, where he even said it doesn't make sense winning the FA Cup, and I was quite upset. And at one point, I said, I don't want this guy United because you have never won a trophy before. and you're saying it wouldn't make a difference if you won the FA Cup, you know? You think you're just going to win the Premier League like that, and he thought he would have just won the Champions League that which starting a Kane that wasn't even fully fit, you know? Benching the player that brought them to the final in Lucas Moura, and that was just a sin on Pochettino's
Yeah.
side. And as I said, bro, they ain't competing for shit. You have the Carabao Cup, you're resting players, you know? They ain't going to win the FA Cup. And every time they reach the latter stages of these competitions, they end up failing, you know? They just don't have the pedigree. They just don't have the mindset. They're not winners in the Spurs team. And the
Yeah.
manager himself, it's a different kettle of fish with coaching Celtic in the Scottish League, where it's a two-horse race, versus coming into the Premier League, where you're going to be competing against quality oppositions for trophies whenever you reach to those stages, you know? But, you know, just for some banter, man, like, what do we think of Tottenham?
Shit. All right, so yeah, bro. Thanks for coming on. We're gonna
Definitely.
end it here. But yeah, bro. Should have you on again whenever you have time. Always have you on. But yeah, guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend, and also look out for the merch. We're having merch coming soon. We're working on it. So yeah, just
And
continue to
subscribe as
support.
well, guys.
Subscribe and continue to support the movement. Thanks again, Kishan, and
Yeah.
we'll see you
Come
next
on, United.
time. All
The
right.
Gunnaz Podcast.